Record. We're gonna get started. I know there's people still running around. So good morning, everyone. I don't expect you to go good morning because I know it's like 9 o'clock. And yesterday I was in Rochester, New York at another tech conference, so I had to make my way to Joplin, Missouri. So my name's Burton Kelso. I'm a technology expert based out of the greater Kansas City area. I've owned a small company by the name of Integral for the past 29 years. So I got into technology right when it got popular in the consumer space. More facts about me, because I love telling stories and sharing information about myself. I've been in media probably for the past 10 years. I've been featured on the Fox affiliate out of Kansas City. I should say all of the stations in the greater Kansas City area. I've been on TV in Springfield, on Ozarks AM. I've been on CBS. I've been on Talk TV, which is a station out of London. So I guess you could say I'm international, but I don't throw that point out there. But my passion is helping people out. I just happen to know a little bit about, just a tad bit about technology. And I love sharing information about technology to help people get more out of their lives when it comes to the technology they deal with. Because show of hands, technology is not easy and it changes all the time, correct? No one's gonna raise their hand, I know. Yeah, I was gonna say, come on now. I even struggle with technology sometimes. And so don't feel bad about technology because it's constantly changing and it's hard to keep up with all of the latest and greatest stuff on there. I'll tell you a little secret. So when I was on CBS last time, it was the day Apple did their release of like all of their new iOS 16 and what's the new iPhone 14 and the new Apple Watch and all this other stuff. So I had to cheat because they when the media calls, you just say yes and then you figure out the rest later. So they're like, yeah, we need you to talk about the new and exciting products for Apple. And I'm like, okay, that's great. So I immediately got on the internet and started Googling because other publications had posted what they wanted to say about the new Apple products. And I had to find the live stream for Apple when they were talking about what the latest features were. And I was struggling for a good 10 minutes before I finally found the live stream on YouTube. And so then I watched it and I went on CBS, and you can go to my YouTube channel, Burton Kelso. So I kind of sound like I know what I'm talking about. But behind the scenes, I'm sweating because I'm like, I don't know anything about what Apple is releasing. So it was great. So anyway, we're here to talk about how to protect your social media accounts from hackers. And I like to make my presentations fun. I suck with the clicker, so if I struggle, please do not criticize me. So I love sharing tech tips. So this is like social media unrelated, but let's talk about QR codes. How many of you have LinkedIn on your phone? Like the app. Did you know LinkedIn had QR codes? I'm not asking you to scan mine. I'm just showing you what it would actually look like. So those of you who have LinkedIn on your phones, take them out. I'll show you how to get access to your QR code. And at conferences like this, it is an excellent idea to connect with people.
No internet access.
Don't you have your...
There's a Wi-Fi here.
It's like the Wi-Fi.
I like how you're trying to shoot me down like, I can't, what are you talking about? I can't get access to the internet.
That's what you're supposed to say, well, let me tell you how.
Oh, well, someone did. Someone beat me to the punch. So how many of you have LinkedIn open on your phones? Okay, so when you're in the main LinkedIn screen, go at the very top where it says search. When you click on search, there's a QR code that's going to be on the right-hand side of the screen. Click on it, and it's going to display your LinkedIn QR code. Now, when you're on that main screen, there's another section at the top that says scan. Click on it. What it will do is it'll allow LinkedIn to access your smartphone's camera, and then you can use your camera to scan a QR code. So it's like double duty. You can either display a LinkedIn QR code, or you can scan one. Are you struggling over here? I'm gonna help. I'm here to help you. See, look. Okay, so then all you do. Here, can we play role play, Brad? Yeah. Come on, Shelby, right? Come on up. You guys are meeting. You're networking. Hey, Brad.
Hey,
Well, I already know.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You already know Brad? Oh, are you connected on LinkedIn?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, we'll do it anyway. Okay. So, okay. Come on, Shelly. Open up LinkedIn. Okay. So go to search at the top, Shelly. Dang, you just got me in. Oh, you had it. I'm sorry. I'm like giving you a hard time for no reason. And click on the QR code off to the, there you go. Now,
Nice.
Brad, what are you doing? Okay, here.
So I have my
Now,
own
what are you
QR
doing?
code.
Click Here, click on your QR code. Okay, so now Brad and Shelly don't know each other. Let's pretend that they don't, right? So, okay, hey Brad, you met Shelly.
Oh.
Okay, hey, why don't you guys connect on
I've heard
LinkedIn?
rumors, though.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, Shelly's gonna show her QR code. Brad, you click on scan, and then just hit enable camera access. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's well, here, maybe hers. You go back.
I have cybersecurity.
Oh, good God, he's on my LinkedIn.
Here, hold on. So, okay, so now Shelly's gonna scan, and then, yeah, you gotta do that. And, yeah, go to the QR code. Okay, so there we go. So what they're gonna do is, Shelly's gonna, and instantly it pops up to Brad's profile.
Don't even have to
That's
push
amazing.
anything.
Look at that.
I told you,
Awesome.
yeah, that's all you do is you just scan and then you connect, right? Yeah. That's why they call me the technology expert. One more tech tip, you ready? Who has Instagram? No one? Instagram has QR codes too. So if you want to,
Okay, how do you do that on Instagram?
I was about to show you. Allow me to retort. I can't with my phone. So, okay, we've got Shelly's phone. So what you would do in Insta is that you would go to where you've got your logo down in the corner. See on your main page where it says Instagram at the upper left-hand corner, and then down at the bottom it's got like your picture for your Instagram account. Click on your picture for your Instagram account. What it will do is it'll bring you up to a screen that has the hamburger menu up in the right-hand corner. The 3 lines. Click on the 3 lines, and then it'll bring up a menu and you can click on QR code. And it's the same thing. You can either display your QR code or you can click at the bottom where it says scan QR code, and then you can scan someone's QR
Awesome,
code.
thank you.
So that's how you connect on Instagram using QR code. So hopefully that will help you connect with more people at the tech conference today. So I like to, as you can tell, I'm not your normal tech guy, and I like doing crazy stuff when it comes to technology. So we're gonna play a game called Myth or Fact throughout this presentation. So I'm gonna throw up a picture and tell you what it's about, and then you just have to say myth or fact. Sorry, there's no candy, it's just fun. So myth or fact, these are all gonna be Thanksgiving themed. So myth or fact, the Pilgrims came over on the Mayflower in the year 1650. Is that a myth or is that a fact?
That's a myth. It wasn't 1650, was it?
Oh my God, anyone else?
I'll say fact.
Anyone else? So it's a myth. They came over in the year 1621. In the winter of 1621, they did not do their research. They got froze to death. So they obviously survived with the help of Massasoit and whoever else, Quanto, the Native American that helped them out, and that's why we celebrate Thanksgiving. So no one wants to see you've been hacked, especially when it comes to social media accounts and websites, because you've seen people post on social media saying, oh my gosh, I've been hacked. You know, Facebook accounts, Instagram accounts, and it's obviously a scary thing, because one of the things that you don't want to happen with your Facebook or Instagram account or even your LinkedIn account is to have criminals commandeer it. Because if you're using Facebook and you're boosting posts, criminals can get access to your credit card information that's stored with your account. True story. One of our customers in Kansas City called frantic on a Saturday morning saying, oh my gosh, my Facebook account, business account has been hacked. And if you're familiar with Facebook, you've got to have a personal account in order to create a business account. And the criminals got access to the personal account, went to the business account, and stole $6,000 based off her credit card. And when your accounts are compromised or hacked, there ain't nothing you can do. Because there ain't no support from Facebook, Meta, whatever. And that's what you don't want. Same thing with websites. Websites are being hacked because you have site builder tools that a lot of small business and entrepreneurs and individuals use. You've got Wix, you've got Squarespace, you've got Shopify, you've got GoDaddy's got a site builder tool, and I know there's other web hosts that have site builder tools as well. And if you are familiar with site builder tools, they're all web accessible, meaning that as long as you've got a browser you can go to Wix, you can go to Shopify, you can go to Squarespace. And if a criminal has your credentials, then potentially they could log into your website and do some pretty nasty stuff to your site. I don't know why that slide's there, but I talked about the cloud-based. So what you want to do is you want to be able to put up a security feature and make sure that you have the knowledge to keep your web-based social media accounts and your websites safe from cyber criminals. Because we all make mistakes, right? We all do stupid stuff. And it's very important that you know how to protect yourself. We got a lot of stuff.
Got a whole crew coming in to hear what you have to say, so.
Well, I better up my game.
Come on in and find you guys.
Oh, you know what? You guys mind if I go back to the poker slide? I want to see if they know. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be fun. All right, all right.
So sorry.
You're so good. This is gonna be interesting now.
Yeah, the experts are here now.
Yeah, the experts. So you're gonna be pointing me out. No, dude, you're wrong. Okay, young students that came in, how are you folks, ladies and gentlemen, doing?
Good.
Good, great. Now you're like, I don't want to be here. So throughout this presentation, I play a game called Myth or Fact. So I went backwards because I want to see how knowledgeable you young people are about, I guess we'll say history on this one. So I'm going to throw up a picture. I'm going to tell you what it's about, and then you need to shout out if it's a myth or it's a fact. You ready? So myth or fact, students, the Pilgrims came over on the Mayflower in the year 1650. Is that a myth or is that a fact?
Myth.
Who said that? I like that. What's your name, sir?
Houston Porter.
All right, I like that. Anyone else care to yell out? Don't worry, if you get it wrong, you're not going to get chastised. Myth, fact, myth? Anyone else? I'm going to walk up to a student, so you guys better like start saying something. Everyone's like scared. I don't want to be wrong.
Right?
I know, it's a 50-50 chance. It's a myth. To educate you youngsters, the Pilgrims came over in the winter of 1621. So remember that. And because they came over in the winter and almost died and were saved by Native Americans, that's why we have Thanksgiving. So there you have it. And they probably didn't have turkey for Thanksgiving either. Probably had venison and some other stuff. So now you know. And like the old TV show G.I. Joe, they say knowing's half the battle. So when it comes to criminals getting access to your credentials to get into your social media accounts and your websites, it's through phishing. And phishing is the act of, anyone just shout it out?
Getting a hold of your information?
Who said that? Yes, you're absolutely right. And your name, young lady?
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne. I like Cheyenne. I have a niece by the name of Cheyenne. But it doesn't look like Cheyenne when they spell it out. It's like... But phishing attacks are the most prevalent form of cyber crime. That means cyber criminals create custom emails and text messages and even voice calls to get you to give up your personal information. That's why it's called phishing, because they throw bait out and then it's up to you to take the bait. Well, hopefully you don't take the bait, but if you do, then you're going to become a victim of cybercrime. One of the most unknown but most prevalent ways that criminals get into online accounts is through a process called credential stuffing, which is represented by this lock and all of these multiple keys. What criminals will do is they go on the dark web, because I hate to tell you this, adults and young adults, is that your information is probably floating around on the dark web and you don't know it. The reason this happens is because the corporations that you're giving out your cell phone numbers to, giving out your email addresses to, are supposed to be in nice, secure hands. But sometimes there's human error that happens at these companies that are storing your data, and it's leaked onto the dark web. Show of hands by my young adults back there. Were you aware of that? Well, you're yeah. I'm messing with you. So yes, that is the major problem, is that you've got large-scale data breaches. So it's not like you could like Google yourself and find information out. You would actually have to use a browser called Tor, T-O-R, to go in and search websites to find your information. Now, I don't know if you know the infrastructure of the internet. The part that you surf, or that we surf, is like the top area of the internet. So think of it as an iceberg. And everyone's familiar with an iceberg, right? Even the Titanic. May she rest in peace. But, so the top portion of the iceberg is what we see. There's a whole different level underneath the surface of the ocean that is considered the dark web, and that's where a lot of our information is. That's where pedophiles hang out and exchange information. That's where terrorists hang out and exchange information. And that's where your personal information sits. So criminals go on the dark web, they get your credentials, and they use whatever credentials that they find out about you to log into your web-based accounts. So if you haven't changed your password in a while, probably a good idea that you do it after this session, because many times, large corporations that have data breaches don't let the public know because they're publicly traded and they don't want their stockholders to get nervous if they suffer cybercrime. Because if they get breached, then it's gonna be a loss of confidence and people aren't gonna deal with it. It's like friends you deal with. If someone tells a secret, you're not gonna be friends with that person anymore. Same thing with these corporations, I think the same way. So credential stuffing is huge. I don't know if anyone in here has heard about the Ring breach. I think it was a couple of winters ago, where criminals were like taunting his kids saying, yeah, we're gonna come get you. We can see you on your Ring camera. And they had Ring cameras or Blink cameras installed internally. And they're like, we can find you. And so this lady's like, oh my gosh, Ring has been hacked. And Ring's like, we ain't been hacked. You were using a weak password. That's why those criminals got into your stuff. And one of the other problems is people don't change passwords, and also they use the same passwords for all of their online accounts. And so if they get access to one password, then they can get into all of your online accounts and access your information. Sometimes they'll use brute force attack, where they may not necessarily get your passwords off the dark web, but they use known passwords in order to log into your online accounts. So if any of you are using like Kitty123 or Password123 or USA123, or maybe, and you probably don't think about this, your mom's name, your dog's name, your grandma's birthday or birthplace, criminals know this because they monitor your social media accounts and gather up information so that they can log in. And when I talk about criminals in cybercrime, I want you to understand that cyber criminals are not just a group of nerds in the basement hanging out trying to get into your account. We're talking about large criminal organizations that involve terrorists. Terrorist organizations make money off of cybercrime. Countries make money off of cybercrime. Think Russia, think North Korea. That's part of their job, is to trick us and get our information so that they can steal from us. Also, I'm trying to think who else. Well, any criminal act, even criminal organizations use cybercrime in order to fund their bad activities. So you really have to open your mind how criminals work and understand that these people, that is their job, is to trick you out of your money. So much like we're having a meeting now, I guarantee somewhere in Russia they're having Petrov and with a class led by Natasha talking about, well, today this is how we're going to trick Americans out of their hard-earned money. And that's why you see these phishing threats change on a consistent basis, starting with like IRS. Then maybe it's like Medicare. But as all of us change, the cyber threats change. So yes, if someone calls about Medicare, we're gonna know about it. But if someone calls about our car warranty, like maybe a year ago, you're like, well, maybe I need to get this information out. But it's constantly changing, and you always have to be vigilant about what's going on as far as crime is concerned. Also, if you're working publicly, there's a such thing called shoulder surfers who can access your credentials. If you've been at the store entering in your PIN number, or maybe you're working at the library or at Starbucks, there could be a crook behind you watching you enter in your passwords. And once they do, they can use that information to get access to your online accounts. Now, one of the things that you can do is, where's that Bible at? See if I want to lead to this. Well, we'll just go with that. So I want you to understand this as far as cybercrime is concerned. Maybe because I know I'm speaking at a church, so my presentation would be blessed. Now that I threw that out there, I'm probably going to get smoked for like, you see the Lord, name and fame. So if I get smoked, just gather my ashes up and take me to the lobby. But I want you to understand that more than 99% of cybercrime requires user interaction. Cybercrime, like Shawnee said in the main conference, is a human problem. Every device that you own, I don't care if it's an iPhone, or if it's an Android phone, or if it's a Windows computer, or even a Macintosh computer, they are, for the most part, safe from being hacked. If you get hacked or get compromised, it's because you clicked on a link in an email, or you gave out your information to somebody who should not have had that data. So it requires human interaction to get into your devices, and the same thing with your online accounts. If someone gets into your website, it's because they've got the credentials to log into your website. Or human error because you didn't secure the API, and which happened in Australia. I gotta tell this story real quick. So Australia is 10 years behind the rest of the world as far as cybercrime is concerned. So one of their big telecom companies about a month ago got hacked because somebody didn't securely design the website. So cybercriminals were able to create another administrator account to log in and steal millions of Australians' usernames, email, passwords, social security numbers, addresses. So they had everything that a criminal would need to be able to steal somebody's identity. And it was human error. So I always want you to think about that maybe 1% you've got viruses and bugs that are floating around the dark web that could get into your smartphones and other devices. But for the most part, it's human error. So remember that. And knowledge is the key. So that's why I'm here to tell you what you need to do in order to keep your account safe. So number one, get out of the habit of using passwords and start using passphrases. Passphrases are two unrelated words that create a password. Now the one that I'm about to throw out there, I don't want anyone to use because I've talked all over the country and I guarantee someone's using it. So the passphrase that I always use is stinky chicken. And you can throw like an exclamation point behind it, you can put numbers with it, but chickens do stink. But you know, no one's really thinking, well, someone's gonna use that as a password. Another one you don't want to use, and this is gonna go over the heads of a lot of people, is if you use the password purple dinosaur. Why would you not want to use that passphrase for a password? Think about it. Barney. There's one more for my Dino. That's what I was about to say. I was going to say, think 1960s, the Stone Age family. But Dino. So you don't want to use like an animal who's a specific color as your passphrase. One of the things that you could use, let's go back a few slides. I think this got misplaced. That's why the Bible. Now, if you were to use biblical verses, you wouldn't want to use John 3:16 as a passphrase because everyone and their mother, including, isn't it Stone Cold Steve Austin? Yeah, says it. So you don't want to use things like that, but you can use a Bible verse, not an obscure one. You wouldn't want to use Psalm 23rd Psalms because that's pretty, you put a passphrase, the Lord is my shepherd. That's going to be like broken like in like 2.3 seconds. So when you think of passphrases, get creative. And there's a website that you can go to called useapassphrase.com. So if you have brain fog and you're like, man, I just can't think of a good passphrase, go to useapassphrase.com. It normally generates four unrelated words, but you could use at least 2 of those words to create a passphrase. So you'd probably see passphrase words like fuzzy rock, or I almost said dirty carpet, but that's kind of like a no-brainer, right? So you wouldn't want to use carpet. You would use carpet like maybe rock carpet or carpet rock, but those are examples of passphrases. And more importantly, rather than using passphrases instead of passwords, you want to make sure that every online account that you have, you need to use a different passphrase for each of those online accounts. You have to, because there are obviously a lot of passwords that you could use, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you're creating passphrases that no one is going to figure out. And they have to be different. And here's a good example of passphrases. So as you can see, I love ice cream. The passphrase, right? Sort of, kind of. But here's the problem with the old passwords that you have. You got Samuel123. Samuel could be grandpa, which you talk about on social media. So criminals are like, oh well, I'll use Grandpa Sam, and then we'll add some numbers. But also with crooks figuring out passwords, it's not only someone figuring out known passwords. You also have programs that are designed to instantly go through thousands of different password combinations. Every combination of, you've got a program that scans and says, okay, well, it's probably this, or we'll try all these different instances of passwords until we get the right one. But as you can see, the one at the bottom of passwords, that's just too darn complicated. It's a good password, and it will keep criminals out, but at the same time, it's gonna be hard for you to remember, and so you want to deviate to that and go to a passphrase. I kinda like I can see them, y'all, and see how damn is spelled wrong in y'all. And the last one, to be or to not to be, I wouldn't use that as a passphrase because it's a popular phrase. If you were gonna use some Shakespeare, you would wanna use more of an unknown quote from Shakespeare. And I don't know Shakespeare, so I can't think of it. Now, it's important to have a password keeper to make sure that you have all of your different passwords saved so that you can log on immediately. Now, there's password programs out there like LastPass, which was hacked recently.
I was gonna ask, is that something we should even do?
Hold on, I'm getting there.
All right.
But when LastPass was hacked, they didn't get into where everyone's passwords were stored. They stole the code source so that they could figure out how LastPass functions. Then they can figure out how they can get access to passwords. But there's LastPass, there's OnePass, there's Dashlane, but as an IT guy and to make life simpler for you folks, I highly recommend that you use your favorite browser to store all your passwords. So if you use Chrome, use the password keeper in Chrome. If you use Microsoft Edge, which I hate, but if you use it, it's got a password keeper built in. Same thing with my Apple people. Safari has a password keeper in it. So the whole idea is for your password keeper, you want to use a very secure password to keep people out. Because even though password keepers are cloud-based, criminals can't get into them because they're encrypted or the data is scrambled up in the web. So the only way to get in to see your passwords is to get access to your account. But if someone broke into like Google or broke into like LastPass, they're just gonna see gibberish. But that's why it's important to create a secure password for your password keeper, whether you use browser-based or even if you use LastPass or one of the programs that I recommend. But browser-based, in my opinion, is the best. So again, doesn't matter if you use Chrome, Brave, Safari, if it pops up and says, hey, do you want to save your password in your browser? Say yes. And another reason why you want to use a password keeper is because your password keeper will notify you if your password has been leaked onto the dark web. How awesome is that? No one thought of it. Yeah. But it seems like a pain in the butt to have different passwords, but you want your passwords to, at least your password keeper to alert you if your password's floating on the dark web. Because if someone gets your password, then they've got the keys to the kingdom. They're able to do whatever they want to any of your online accounts. I keep just throwing slides in. And I'll say this, but that's why it's important for websites and social media, because they're all on the web. That means if you've got a Squarespace account, Wix account, even your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat account is all web accessible. And I don't know if any of you realize this. You know Instagram, Snap, TikTok are accessible by your smartphones, correct? We all know that. But did you know you can also access them from a browser now?
Yes.
Come on, I didn't know that until like a month ago. But yeah, TikTok used to be only smartphone accessible. But you can go to TikTok and now you can post your tics from a computer, from a Windows or Mac computer. Same thing with Snapchat. Snapchat only used to be smartphone accessible, but now you can just get on the browser and get to it. So criminals don't necessarily have to get into the app to get access to your social media accounts. They can just go to any browser and access your stuff and have, and take over. So number 2 is to use two-factor or two-step authentication for all of your online accounts. That basically means that you set your online account where if someone says, hey, or actually gets into your account, it's gonna come up with an alert that says, is this you in Islamabad trying to get into your Snapchat account? And obviously if you're in Joplin, Missouri or somewhere in the Missouri area, it's like, well, why is it throwing that number up? Well, it's because some criminal has gotten your data off of the dark web and they're trying to log in. So the two-factor comes in by sending you either an email or a text alert to your phone verifying that you are who you say you are. And that's why it's important for whatever online account you have, social media, website, whatever, make sure that you set up two-step or two-factor authentication because it's another barrier in order to prevent criminals from accessing your stuff. True story, I was about to go on the news, one of the national news stations. So they have you log in like 10 minutes before you go on air. So I'm sitting there, read email, and an email comes up from my Sony PlayStation account that says, hey, is this you trying to log in from Detroit, Michigan? And I'm like, I haven't tried to log into my PlayStation account for months. It's already set up to log in. So I knew it wasn't me. So I told the email, no, this is not me. And then I went about my merry way, changed my password, and then I was good to go. But I mean, that's why you want the two-factor authentication on every account. Now, sometimes like if you bank, they make you set up two-factor authentication, but sites like Meta, meaning Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn, they really don't care. I mean, you can set it up, but they don't actually make you set it up. So make sure that you're setting up two-factor authentication. Okay, myth or fact time. I live for this. All right, myth or fact. Oh, I love this one. So myth or fact, Baby Yoda's real name is William. Is that a myth or is that a fact?
Yeah.
Everyone said that's kind of, yeah. So yeah, it's a myth. I was gonna try to drag it out, but I'm like, here, fine. So what is Baby Yoda's real name? Oh my gosh, we got some Star Wars fans in here. Or Mandalorian fans in here. All right. Okay, moving on. Use login alerts. So on your smartphone, you can put up alerts whenever someone logs into your account. Now, normally as a tech guy, I am not the person that says turn on alerts. Because for me, smart devices are, and technology in general, is addicting. How many believe that? Yes or no? I knew one in the back was, oh my gosh, we got some young adults out there that agree. Technology is addicting, it really is. And so one of the ways to cure that addiction is to turn off alerts on your smartphone. Because if your alerts are constantly buzzing or dinging in your pocket, you're gonna automatically pull out your smartphone and take a look at it. But when it comes to protecting your websites and protecting your social media accounts, you need to make sure that you turn on login alerts to make sure you're the one that's actually logging in. Because again, you don't know when your information has been leaked onto the dark web. I forget how often data breaches occur with large corporations, but normally you don't find out until weeks or even months later that a company was breached. But with login alerts, you can keep a constant eye if someone's illegally accessing your social media accounts or your website. So turn them on for login purposes, but I would say turn them off for posting purposes because you don't want to be like, maybe you do, but you don't want to have to pop out your phone all the time. So, number 4, we get to play a little exercise. You want to find out what, I like how I'm going to spell that. Yeah, what information is floating on the dark web. Ignore that. Yeah, human error, yeah. So there's an awesome website. Has everyone heard Have I Been Pwned? We're going to play a game. So there's a website called Have I Been Pwned that allows you to find out if your information has been leaked on the dark web. Not only your information, but what pwned is supposed to be pwned.
No, the one before.
What? I'm not going back to that mistake
I
slide.
know, but I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about.
What? Yeah, find out if your information's on the dark web. Yeah, I know it was like, I was up late one night doing that. So there's a website called HaveIBeenPwned.com, and the way to spell it is, forget this, just type in www.haveibeenpwned.com. No question mark. So anyone gonna go to that website? don't be scared. You wanna know. You wanna know. Open your favorite browser. Go to haveibeenpwned.com. Let's see if I can, real quick. I'm trying to get there. So that we can do the exercise together. That way you won't be alone.
Put my information. That's what you're gonna give me.
Oh, I had to go, okay, hold on. There we go. Let me move the podium and not destroy my laptop at the same time.
That's exciting. I've been involved in 12 data breaches.
Oh my gosh, you've already done it. So the way the website works, once I find my clicker. The way the website works is that you can enter in your email, work or personal, or you can enter in your phone number. Now, pwned is gamer speak for owned. I guess years ago, there were some online gamers, and of course, you know, if someone says I own you, they own you. But the guy like typed P instead of own, and that's why you got owned. So I'm curious, what do we have? We've got 12. Anyone else here to share how?
Mine all sound good.
Oh, that's awesome. See, now you know. And knowing's half the
I have a
battle.
lot of, well, I have a lot of emails that give me some time.
Oh, okay. Anyone else? How many times?
0.
Yeah, I know.
0? 0? 1? Sir, with the hat backwards, what's your name?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, my name's Autumn.
So, how old are you?
16.
Okay. So, reason I asked, because I really don't care about your age. I mean, you're a magnificent young man. The challenge is that you have been pwned once at age 16. So that shows how cyber criminals are attacking everyone. Most people think that it's only seniors, but it's also young adults as well. So I want you guys to be aware of this, and I think that's why you were brought into this class, to help you understand the dangers of cybercrime, because they're targeting you now. You're the up and coming generation. Criminals.
My 16-year-old has some.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, they're grooming you and wanting you to be consumers for life, but at the same time, one of the scary things about being young and having cyber criminals access your information, what happens if they get a hold of your social security numbers? What do you think would happen? Anyone in the back?
We are in trouble. Still my identity.
Steal your identity. You nailed it. Steal your identity. File tax returns in your name. Get credit cards in your name. So by the time you're going off to college or even in high school and you try to apply for credit, they're gonna say, yeah, your credit sucks because you've got this amount in debt. That's why it's important for you to understand about criminals targeting social media and even websites, because you don't want your reputation and you don't want your financial history ruined even before you enter the adult workforce. Anyone else been pwned by phone numbers or email? Okay, how many?
2.
Wow. And you? 2 as well? Curious, what email, the trio, what emails are you using?
It's my secondary email.
Is it a Gmail account?
Yes.
Okay. And you, was yours Gmail as well?
Yeah,
Okay, I got you. And I'm assuming so what data breach was the email leaked in? That's the next
I
question.
don't
Does it say?
know.
If you scroll down,
Yeah, it does. If you scroll down, it tells you. Thank you. Were you pwned?
Well, I've heard of this website before. All the ones that I checked, my like old university email was.
Was it?
So like, that's kind of interesting.
I don't even.
Is it something you can't mention?
I
You're
don't-
like
I don't
giggling
wanna
back
say-
there.
No, it's not.
Is this some
it's
adult
not
website?
inappropriate. It's not inappropriate.
Is it inappropriate?
No, it's not. I show my friends, but it's embarrassing. So
Oh, okay.
It's not inappropriate.
What is it? I'm messing with you. Okay. Can you share? Is it inappropriate? All right.
2 reading websites.
Oh, okay.
It's great.
But it's a popular site with youngsters though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that it? Oh.
Mine was.
That's nothing to be embarrassed about.
It's
I'll
kind
share
of
mine,
embarrassing.
which is pretty interesting. If anyone's heard of the website Shein, probably lots of young women buying clothes
Shein.
from them. That was mine.
Oh my
So
goodness.
You're spending money on there.
So, as you can see, these companies And here's the deal. Did you realize that these companies have been breached at all?
No.
You get no email saying, hey, we've been breached, no, whatever. And that's the way it works. You give your information to these companies, they get breached, they don't tell you. So now what you need to do if you've been pwned is to go and change whatever password that you're using for that email account. So for your Gmail accounts, you need to go change the passwords, which, raise your hand if you have. Have you changed your Gmail password lately? Like right now, right this second, right?
No.
But yes, that's what happens if you've been pwned. Now let's talk about phone numbers. Has anyone entered their phone number in to see how much? How many times? Oh, really? Really?
What,
It
like,
says 3, but it's got some.
Oh, okay, I got you. So the challenging thing about the phone number is that once your phone number is out there, then criminals can use it to spoof call other people. So have you ever gotten a phone call where someone says, hey, quit calling me? It's because a criminal has got access to your cell phone number and they're using it to call other people. The more dangerous aspect of giving out your cell phone number is the fact that criminals can take access of your phone number, call your provider like AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile, say, hey, I got a new phone. I want to transfer this from this old phone to this new phone. And then they take over your account. Not only do they get your phone number and you get no more phone calls, you also have the problem of they can start racking up stuff on your account, like the latest iPhone that has come out or the latest Android phone that has come out. So it's very important when it comes to your phone numbers that you don't share them with anyone other than family and close friends. What you want to do is that you want to set up or use WhatsApp as your main public number, or you can use Google Voice as your main public number, and that way it keeps your smartphone number safe and secure. Because you don't want criminals to get access to it. Yes?
That's not very, owning a small business, that's not very, you're not able to really do that. Not
Yes, you
giving
can.
your
I
business
do
phone
it.
number away.
What'd you say?
Not giving your business phone number.
Well, if your business number, well, the problem is if you give out your mobile number is your business number, then that becomes a big problem because it puts you at larger risk for someone stealing your business number. So what we use for my IT business is that we have Vonage. So we give out the Vonage number, and then when calls come in, it'll pop up and say, hey, this call's coming from Vonage, and then that way we know that someone is calling for the business. I rarely give out my cell phone number, and it's like maybe every 6 months I'll get a spam text message or a marketing call from spam. So I hate telling you this, and I understand.
No, I'm glad you did, because I will look into that now. I
So-
get spam calls.
some people might not be aware of the service that WhatsApp offers, is they like give you an alternative phone number, 10-digit number,
Right.
that you can give out, and then you can answer phones from your same cell phone, but people don't have your personal phone number.
It's like a redirect, basically.
It is a
Yeah,
redirect.
Yeah,
It
so
is.
that, and then you can kind of, it's nice if you have a lot of business going on, because you can shut off.
Yeah, you can.
And still
You
get
can
personal
disconnect.
phone calls.
So I'm assuming you
Which
do
is
this.
well, I have for areas of life, like when I was in school, I would only communicate with certain groups through WhatsApp. For instance, my team members,
Right.
and I would turn notifications for my team off when I wasn't involved in track-related things, just so I could focus on family for the
Yeah, so-
holidays or whatever it is.
Yeah, so Shelly, you could, if you had got WhatsApp or got Google Voice, you're still using your cell phone or your smartphone. It just downloads the app onto your smartphone, and then when calls come in, they're constantly running in the background of your smartphone. So if you gave someone your WhatsApp number, then when they came in through the WhatsApp phone number, then it would pop up on your phone, and then you could answer it. And then when you make outgoing calls, you would open up WhatsApp or Google Voice and make an outgoing call, and it'll show the caller ID of your WhatsApp or Google Voice number. So, yes, sir.
Who owns WhatsApp?
Matt. And then the other giant owns Google Voice, right? Makes perfect sense. But you could, if you wanted to pay, there's a service called Ooma that you could use, that they have an app. You could use Ring Central, But this is more for business users that I want a business number. But again, it protects your number because criminals look and they can tell which provider your number is with. So once they get your number and like some more personal details about you, then they can make that call to Verizon, I almost said Sprint, Verizon, T-Mobile, or AT&T and say, hey, I want to swap my number over to this new phone. So yeah, that's why. Did you have a question?
Yeah, would it be wise to talk to your cell phone carrier and be like, if there's ever someone contacting about a SIM swap or anything, to make sure that you're there, the physical person, before you actually have that?
I think it depends. So the question is that can you contact your cell phone provider to make sure that you're in person to make sure this is not going to happen, that someone's not going to steal your smartphone number? I think it depends on the cell phone carrier and whoever you talk to, because we all know if you go into the store or call over the phone, it depends on how helpful the person is that wants to make sure that you're taken care of is. So I would definitely set up alerts and maybe set up like a PIN number for your account so that if criminals try to make changes to your account, you can have a PIN number that you have to give in order for changes to be made. So, I mean, you can check that, but each carrier is different,
So kind of a question on two-factor authentication, and maybe too technical for us. I know like a lot of websites offer it, right?
Yeah.
Can you force it? Like if my Verizon doesn't offer two-factor authentication, can I somehow force that?
No, and I would say your mobile carrier, for the most part, they have the two-factor authentication built in, so it's no reason.
But if there's some site that doesn't do it, I can't.
Yeah,
force
there's some websites that don't do it.
Yeah.
And the logic would be you wouldn't want to deal with any website that's not going to give you two-factor authentication. Because as you can see from our young adults back here, whatever Mango website that was breached. I mean, let's just call it what it is. It was breached. They were hacked, and you've got 3 people who have Gmail accounts, and none of them were notified that yes, your information is out there on the dark web. That's why sites like Have I Been Pwned are important. And one of the other things I forgot to mention about Have I Been Pwned, you can also go to a section of the site where you can check out passwords to find out if your password is a popular password and if it's floating around on the dark web. So it's a very important website to use on occasion to make sure that you haven't suffered any data breaches, because they're not going to let you know that that information is floating around out there. So number 4, if I could go the right direction. So friend requests on social media. We want to friend everybody, right? I mean, at least I do on LinkedIn. I saw someone shaking their head back there going, heck no, I don't want to do that. And this is what it looks like to me. Anyone remember the old Orkin commercials with the cockroaches and the termites coming to the door, trying to get into the house? I think this is the one where he says, my car broke down and I want to use your phone. So, come on, someone's seen this commercial. There's the one with the cockroach trying to get into the hot tub. There's the one with the rats playing drums in the room. And I mean, but this is what it essentially boils down to when you accept strange friend requests. You really have to be careful with who you are connecting with on social media. And it doesn't matter what social media platform you're on, you're gonna get those requests. And the challenging thing about accepting unknown friend requests is that criminals are getting a little bit more sophisticated as far as researching you to find out personal information about you, so that when they message you, you think it's somebody that you already know. And that's a challenge, because if you feel like you know someone, you're gonna trust them and you're probably gonna give out personal information. So scrutinize those friend requests that are coming in to make sure that it's not some criminal who's trying to get a hold of your social media accounts or your websites. Now, I can't remember if I have this in a slide, but I'm gonna share it anyway. There's a big difference on social media between an account that's been hacked and one that's been spoofed. Now, if an account has been spoofed or duplicated, you are really in no danger. What criminals are trying to do is that they copy the details of your social media account. Once they steal your profile picture and maybe make a couple of posts or duplicate posts that you do, they reach out to your friends list and start sending out spam messages like, how are you? Check out this cool website, click on this link. And it's a numbers game to them. So if it's coming from a trusted source, people are gonna be apt to click on those links. So if someone I know sends me a link, I'm not gonna verify that if I'm connected with them or not. I'm just gonna say, curiosity is gonna get the best of me, and I'm gonna click on that link. So always do your due diligence as far as making sure that an account isn't duplicated. If it's duplicated, they're not gonna have a lot of friends. They're gonna be very few posts, and there may be like a misspelling of a name or words. Now, if your social media account has been hacked, you're in a world of hurt, because there is no support from Meta or any other social media companies. You just lose the account. And the other way that you know you're hacked is that you can't log into your account at all. Meaning, you have no access. Whatever password you try, it doesn't allow you to get in. So that's the difference. So if someone spoofs your account, no big deal. You just report it to Facebook, Meta, Snap, Insta, and let them know. But if it's been hacked, you might as well start all over again, because you're not gonna get any support. So myth or fact time, Thanksgiving themed. Myth or fact, cornbread stuffing is better than white bread stuffing. Is that a myth or is that a fact? Someone said myth. You said fact. Yes. Come on. Anyone else? Fact.
Yeah.
I love this. I just put this up for the sake of argument. So there is no answer. It's like your own personal preference. So this is kind of a challenging thing, but you should do it. Do backups of your social media accounts and your websites. Now, if you've got a site builder tool like Wix or Squarespace, you just have to trust that these people are backing up your websites. Wix recently pulled a number on me. I went to edit my personal Wix site and our company's Wix site, and they completely revamped the whole API. So I'm like, I have no clue how to design the website anymore. And there's no backup, so you just have to trust that these companies are backing up your data. But if you have a business and you have someone controlling your website, you need to, number one, make sure that the website's in your name. Number two, you need to make sure that they're making backups, because if a criminal gets access to it and puts ransomware on your site, how are you gonna restore your website? If you don't have any backup, you don't. Same thing with your social media accounts, you should back those up. You're posting photos and videos, and if your account gets compromised, you lose access to all of that stuff. So all of the social media platforms have a way that you can back up your social media. You just go into settings, and then there's a section that says backup. And it will take a while, especially if you've been on social media for a long period of time. But some of us use our social media accounts kind of as like a file storage system, where we upload photos, we delete them off our phone, and then if we need to retrieve them, we'll just go back to our accounts again. But I would say probably once a year, back up your social media accounts so that you can store those memories. So if your account is compromised, you always have access to it. And again, website is kind of hard, but if someone's hosting your website, you need to make sure that they are backing up your website too. I hate telling people this. So, if you are a business owner, this is really important. You need to have your first name, lastname.com, or you need to claim your business name. Now, for businesses, this is important because using a Gmail for your business basically says, hack me. Or if you're using AOL or Yahoo, those accounts are free accounts and criminals are always accessing those accounts. But if you get your own domain name, you're claiming it so criminals can't take it over. So the best example of claiming your social media accounts is, let's say you're active on Facebook, but you're not active on Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter or Snap or even TikTok. You need to claim those immediately so criminals don't access them. Because it's easy for a crook to go look at your Facebook profile and go, oh my gosh, I'm gonna set up a TikTok profile in your name. You want to claim those so that even if you're not on the platform, it's under your email address and under your password, and that way criminals can't claim those accounts and use them to spoof people. Because one of the things that people do with social media is that if they follow you on one platform, they're gonna seek you out on other platforms. So if I connect with you on LinkedIn, I'm gonna look for your Facebook profile or your Instagram profile to just have a better connection with you. Because some people are stronger on other social media platforms than their primary one. But you want to claim them because you don't want criminals to get access to that information and use it to like spam other people. Because it could potentially, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could potentially cause people to, or cause you to get banned on the platform. For example, let's say that you're on Insta, but you're not really on Facebook. Remember, Insta and Facebook are owned by Meta. So let's say that someone sets up a fake account and starts spamming and doing stuff. You could possibly get banned on both Facebook and Insta, and then you would have to start your account over again. So just consider that. And I just talked about this. I knew this slide was here, but yeah. So yeah, there you go. We talked about hacks, we talked about spoof accounts. So as you can see with Steve, he's a popular person in Raleigh. I was trying to use the clicker. So the one on the left is the fake account. The one on the right is the realistic account. But as you can see, they went and got Steve's profile picture of him. I don't know why they have the Siegfried and Roy Tigers at the top as a banner. But look at the number of followers versus how many people are following him. Obviously, the legitimate account has more followers. So you want to make sure that you check out accounts and make sure that they're real before you connect with them. And then finally, if you're using a web hosting company, make sure they have your back. So obviously we need support when it comes to websites, and you definitely need a tech company that's going to drag you along. But understand this, you know who doesn't have your back? None of the social media accounts or free email programs have your back. You always want to make sure that you have some type of support system to make sure that you're safe and secure. So final myth or fact. Myth or fact, Popeyes makes a spicy turkey for Thanksgiving. Is that a myth or is that a fact? Everyone's looking at me like, what?
Which one was it about?
Popeyes, the chicken joint, they release a spicy turkey every Thanksgiving and Christmas. Is that a myth or is that a fact?
It's a myth. That's a fact.
It's fact. And I'm telling you, it is the best flipping turkey on the planet. It's a deep fried Cajun turkey. It's a fact. If you have not tried Popeyes, and I don't work for Popeyes, I'm just telling you. If you want the bomb turkey, go to Popeyes and get one. So to wrap things up, and I went a little over because we started late, but to wrap things up, you want to make sure that you're being vigilant about all of your social media accounts. Make sure that you're looking for fake accounts and if you find a spoofed account from your friend, report it. Make sure that you're claiming all of your social media accounts, and for the love of God, please use strong passwords to keep all of your social media accounts and websites safe. So I'm gonna leave you with this. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life that you imagine. So I'm Burton Kelso, the tech expert. You can find me on all of the social media platforms because I claimed them all, and I hope you do too. So I appreciate you allowing me to present to you. I can't believe no one knew about the Popeyes Cajun turkey. You've had it, right? Hey guys, thanks for sitting through. I hope it wasn't too boring.